Pruitt for his role in last month's sweatshop fire, protests are scheduled to take place throughout the city. Estimates for the size of these rallies ranges anywhere from a few thousand to 100,000 people.
Did we cause this?
You caused this.
Any word?
No, and it's been a full day.
Complicated case. Jury could be out for a week, maybe longer.
Can we talk?
Where's your client?
This is my client, Greg Alderson. He is Pruitt Fashions, chairman of the board and majority shareholder.
You guys are about to witness the birth of a sacrificial lamb. Let me guess, you're less than thrilled about what this trial is doing to your share price, right? Huh? And this is where you step in and sell out Z. Pruitt to save the company?
Pruitt pleads guilty. No jail time, no admission of guilt by the company.
No. Pruitt and the company plead guilty. You take out an apology ad in every major newspaper in America.
Families get $1 million, and wages go up 50% within the year. Pruitt gets 18 months in prison. He'll be out in 6.
You have no case. When the jury puts down their handkerchiefs, they'll figure that out.
You're probably right, but I guarantee you this, Elliot. Win or lose, I am going to set up a labor violation enforcement unit. And the first 100 cases I file, they're going to be against Pruitt. You'll be on the front page all year long. See what that does to your stock price.
Take the deal.
I'll draw up the papers.
That was amazing.
I can't believe they tossed Pruitt over the side like that.
I was just surprised it took him so long.
You are the best.
You're right.
So does this mean I'm not fired?
Not today. Okay, burgers on me. Let's go. It's you. Oh, you have cleanup detail.
I gotta clean up this mess all by myself? Are you kidding?
Like I could ever find that place without you.
Next, a storm out west could have you thinking twice about New Year's. Plus, an explosion rocks this South Jersey home, and a man is inside. We'll have the details next.
Save big. Hurry to Subway restaurants for a fresh value meal, just $3.99. Different delicious piled high sub of the day with chips and drink, $3.99. Subway restaurants, where freshness meets value. Subway, eat fresh.
Your nasal passages, when they're clear, life's a breeze. It's anything but. Unlike pills, Afrin's Gentle Mist reopens your nasal passages instantly so you can breathe better all day long. Afrin, amazing.
Unlocked the doors when her dress and keys were inside. Got an email from her car. Contacted help when his son stopped breathing. Helped find his dream car after it was stolen. Made a call even when his cell phone couldn't. Choose a Chevy with OnStar.
Dave's got George Clooney, plus great moments in presidential speeches tonight.
War on Terror. It's L.A.
This guy's wreaking havoc here, now, today.
To save the city.
And when that plane takes off, lives hang in the balance.
One of Shark's team will sacrifice their life.
I need an ambulance!
Having trouble catching some Z's? I can help. Go to Mattress Giant.
Only a few days left to save 50% off at Mattress Giant's New Year's sale. Giant savings on Spring Air and save 50% off a Simmons Beauty Rest set in plush, firm, or his side, her side. Plus 0% interest until 2009. Only at Mattress Giant.
Only at Mattress Giant.
Ooh, ah.
Just gives me the feeling like she's not, listening to me.
Have you tried not saying like every other word?
What?
Remember your ski trip story?
Yeah.
I was going down the hill.
No,
and
come on, that's
and I was
not me.
Stuff either happened to.
Holy.
The Holiday Miracles sales event. No real miracles, just $1.99 Jettas until January 2nd.
Now, live, CBS 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
I saw the walls just fall and they all collapsed.
An explosion rips apart a South Jersey home with a man still inside. A blast so massive the home is lifted off its foundation. Good evening, I'm Larry Menti. Alicia is off tonight. Right now, investigators are still on the scene of that house explosion. And tonight, we're learning more about the couple that own the home. The blast happened this afternoon on Sharps Road in Monroe Township, Gloucester County. And that's where CBS 3's Todd Quinones joins us live with the details. Todd.
Larry, right now, investigators here are treating this like a crime scene. However, they are not saying a crime has been committed, but they are taking their time. They are going step by step here to try and figure out, was this anything other than just an accident?
Pieces of lumber are being used to prop up the home on Sharps Road so it doesn't shift, and a front-end loader will be used to tear the roof off so investigators can get inside and look for an explanation as to why the home exploded just before 3 o'clock while 49-year-old Bill Saucier was inside.
As I came around the corner, I saw the walls just fall and they all collapsed, and I saw him burst out the door, cut up with blisters, and he had a gash on his forehead, and flames were coming off his back and smoke and stuff.
According to authorities, Saucier no longer lives at the home with his wife. Neighbors say the two are separated. His wife and her young son were not at home at the time of the incident. Preliminary indications are a natural gas line played a role in the explosion.
Is there any indication that this is anything other than some sort of freak accident?
At this point in time, I couldn't tell you anything until we complete our investigation.
The sheer force of the blast tore the home apart from the inside out, knocking it off its foundation and buckling the roof.
The roof lifted completely off the top of the house, and then the walls actually fell down from there. So it was a complete explosion within the house.
Bill Saucier had to be flown to Cooper Hospital. He was then later transported to Temple's Burn Center, where right now he is listed in critical condition. However, indications are that his injuries are not life-threatening and that he should eventually be okay. Reporting live tonight in Monroe Township, Gloucester County, New Jersey, I'm Todd Quinones, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Todd, thanks. A dangerous road made even more dangerous. A blackout tonight along part of the Roosevelt Boulevard. Chopper 3 over the scene near Woodward Street, where a car hit a Pico pole. 2 people were thrown from the car. 1 is in critical condition. Power is out between Pennypack Circle and Welsh Road. No word on when it will be restored. Rabies tests have come back positive for a coyote that is believed to attack 3 people Tuesday in Palmer Township, Northampton County. The animal has been destroyed. The bite victims are now undergoing treatment and are expected to be okay. Funeral services are underway for a mainline mom found beaten to death inside her Upper Merion home. Authorities are intensifying their investigation into the victim's husband, a Penn professor who attended tonight's closed casket viewing. CBS 3's Angela Russell is live in Wayne now with more. Angela.
Larry, the family hour lasted for a couple of hours. The actual funeral is tomorrow. There are some new developments in the case. The DA announcing today that Dr. Rob, Ellen's husband, has not been excluded as a person of interest in this case, and he is calling on the public's help. Penn economics professor Raphael Robb joined many others at Donahue Funeral Home to pay their respects to Ellen Robb. Becky Best says she was a classmate of Robb's at Radnor High School. She knew her as Ellen Gregory.
She was a fun, great person, loved to party.
While friends and family mourn, authorities are making headway in their investigation. The medical examiner reports that Robb died between 8:20 and 10:15 Friday morning. Montgomery County's district attorney wants to know if anyone saw anything at their Upper Merion home during those hours.
There was a window broken, which would have made noise. There is a dog in the home that could possibly have made noise. I want to know if anybody saw anything unusual at that home.
The DA is also asking for the public's help with their investigation into Ellen's husband, Dr. Robb.
I'd like to hear from people who know Dr. Robb and can discuss with us his personality, his habits, the way he interacts with people, his affect, and generally what type of man we're dealing with here.
It's been almost a week since someone beat Robb to death inside her Upper Merion home. Bess says waiting for answers is frustrating.
People have said it's like something out of like a murder mystery novel. It's just too weird.
In terms of when an arrest might be made, the DA says they are now waiting on some blood tests to return. They could return sometime next week, and they're hoping that the results will lead them closer to the killer. Reporting live from Wayne, Pennsylvania, Angela Russell, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Angela, thank you. 18-year-old Simone Walker is facing charges tonight for allegedly abandoning a newborn baby boy in South Jersey. A man throwing out trash discovered the infant in a dumpster last night at the Sandpiper apartment complex in Hamilton Township, Atlantic County. Walker is behind bars. The child is in fair condition. At least one woman has offered to adopt the baby. Caught on surveillance video, a violent robbery at a check cashing store in North Philadelphia. Watch as the suspect knocks a customer unconscious and then robs him of $1,000 in cash. Police describe the suspect as a black male, 5'7", with a light brown complexion, wearing all black. If you know anything about the suspect, contact Philadelphia police. Also caught on tape, a crime of opportunity. A donation jar swiped from a convenience store. As Valerie LeVake reports, that money was destined for a very worthy cause.
Richland Township Police are investigating the theft of a donation can here at this 7-Eleven filled with money meant for sick animals. It was a crime of opportunity. A suspect walks into the 7-Eleven on the Richland Town Pike. Watch as he moves the donation can closer to him.
He waited for the cashier to turn around, and while there was nobody there, just walked out with it. We didn't notice it right away. About a week later, I thought they picked it up, but then they said they didn't, so I went back on the surveillance to see what happened, and here I see this guy walking out with a donation box.
The money in the can was meant for the Last Chance Ranch, a nonprofit organization run by volunteers. They rehabilitate sick horses.
You know, it's bad enough to steal from anybody, but to steal from a charity, to poor defenseless animals that can't even speak for themselves, that are sick and already been abused and neglected and thrown away, and then to lose their donation on top of it, that's just terrible.
There was at least $200 worth of donations. That money is needed to care for the horses here.
It's expensive. These horses can cost us, you know, several $100s a month per horse, and we have over 20 horses here.
Police believe the suspect is named James Brown. He is wanted on other theft charges in Richland Township. The Last Chance Ranch has a message for him.
I would like to see him come here and see what he stole from, and maybe do his community service here.
The owner of this store says the next donation can she gets will be chained to the counter. In Richland Township, Valerie LeVake, CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
Funeral services begin tomorrow for former President Gerald Ford. An honor guard rehearsed today outside St. Margaret's Episcopal Church in Palm Desert, California. A private service will be held there tomorrow. The former president's casket will arrive at the church at around 3 o'clock our time, accompanied by family and his wife, Betty. Tomorrow at 3:20 p.m. on CBS 3, we'll bring you a special report from that California church. Coverage of the casket lying in state in the Capitol Rotunda in Washington begins Saturday at 5:20 p.m. You can see the service at the National Cathedral Tuesday morning at 9. And today in New York City, thousands gathered to say goodbye to the godfather of soul. A horse-drawn carriage carried James Brown's body to a public viewing at the Apollo, where Brown made his debut back in 1956. Brown's longtime friend, Reverend Al Sharpton, led today's services. James Brown died on Christmas Day at the age of 73, but his music will live on forever. Round 2 is underway in Denver. Another blizzard bearing down on the mile-high city. Up to 18 inches of snow is expected. The storm is again threatening to derail a busy travel weekend. Meteorologist Maria LaRosa is in for Kathy Orr with more on what that storm might bring us. Maria.
Well, Larry, obviously we're watching this one very closely. It's gaining strength and just beginning to bring some heavy snow to Colorado area and also some showers to Texas, where tomorrow they may be under the gun from some severe weather related to this storm. Here it is right now. In between there are some dry conditions, and the moisture connection for us, just clouds. And that's what we're seeing tonight. So we may end up having days of dry weather because of the storm's new timing. Right now, though, for tomorrow, things will be in between stages. It'll be a cool start with light winds, 46 degrees by midday with some clouds and sun, and dry for the evening, partly cloudy. Coming up, I'll have details on what the delay in the rainfall will mean and what the delay in ending of the rainfall will mean for your holiday weekend. Larry?
Maria, see you in a couple of minutes. Right now, Rutgers football fans are watching their team tackle Kansas State in the Texas Bowl. CBS 3 cameras caught up with fans taking in the action at Champs Bar and Grill in Marlton, Burlington County tonight. Scarlet Knight fans are riding high following their 10-2 season and their second consecutive bowl game.
We have a lot of people that live in the area. We sent out some notices, so we're all getting together for the game. Plenty of alumni in the area. We have about 300 people here to come out to support them. They were more than willing to come out.
Displays of fan pride all over our area tonight, especially in Camden. City Hall is lit up in red to show support for the team. So how'd they do? We'll have the highlights in sports. Next on CBS 3 Eyewitness News at 11, a prince getting ready for war. Reports that a royal could be headed to Iraq. Plus,
Stephen said in a letter, don't send me anything for Christmas, just send me things that I can give to the children.
straight from a soldier's heart to the arms of Iraqi children. Hear the inspirational story of how one soldier's passion is still changing lives. Then, the debate over cloning is making its way to your kitchen table, the choice you'll soon have to make at the grocery store. Plus, how to avoid that New Year's hangover and keep your calorie count down. Sound good? We'll have it when we come right back.
Tonight, Dave's got Sexiest Man Alive, George Clooney.
I worked hard for that one.
Plus, the top 10 shows on the new gay TV channel.
How I Met Your Brother.
Tonight.
FC Kerbeck's year-end red tag markdown madness. Your choice. Get a Cadillac CTS, Lexus ES, or Jaguar X-Type. Your choice. Only $199 a month. 0 payments till March. Many others at same low payment. Instant credit. Immediate delivery. Choose a Cadillac CTS, Lexus ES, or Jaguar X-Type. Your choice. Only $199 a month. 0 payments till March. Kerbeck's year-end red tag markdown madness. Palmyra, New Jersey. Open late every night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Why shouldn't people live in their living rooms? Who says sofas are just for sitting?
Why can't pillows fight with each other?
Why can't a bookcase expand with your mind?
Why shouldn't sofas come in flavors?
Just like families.
Come to the IKEA winter sale and save 20 to 60% on select items throughout the store.
Nissan asks, what's your resolution? More versatility, style, utility, space. How about saving money during Nissan's National Year-End Sales Event? Lease the 7-passenger Nissan Pathfinder for $269 a month. Event ends January 2nd. Get to your Nissan dealer now and resolve to save.
Food from cloned animals is one step closer to your supermarket shelves. Today, the FDA declared the food safe to eat, though the final approval process will take months and it may be years before it's actually sold in stores. In the meantime, companies trying to distance themselves from cloning may begin using clone-free labels. For many, New Year's Eve means parties and drinking, which can sometimes lead to a nasty hangover. So before the drinking gets started, dietitians suggest taking a multivitamin or B supplement to help break down the alcohol after it's consumed. And most importantly, drink lots of water.
Alcohol increases your urine output and contributes to dehydration. So the biggest headache that you get is because you're dehydrated.
Once the drinking starts, here are some hangover busters. Alternate between water and alcohol, stick to one type of drink, limit yourself to 1 drink per hour, and avoid cheap liquor. Britain's Prince Harry may be off to the war in Iraq. A British newspaper reports that Harry's girlfriend has told friends that he's headed to the fight. The third in line to the throne is a second lieutenant in the British Army. Their defense ministry insists they have not made a final decision on whether to send the royal to Iraq. The numbers coming out of Iraq that we report on every night are cold and impersonal, but it's important to remember that every number represents a hero, and every hero's story deserves to be told. Tonight, we're going to tell you one, the story of Corporal Stephen McGowan, the Beanie Baby soldier. There are people in this world who can find a ray of hope in our darkest hour of despair.
Where's it hurt you? Come on, Holland, talk to me.
My name is Specialist Stephen McGowan.
Stephen McGowan joined the Army in the tsunami of emotion that flooded this country after 9/11.
For him, protecting this nation just was an immediate response.
And when it was time for soldiers to go to Iraq, Stephen volunteered.
His roommate had a 3-year-old, and he felt it was his duty to go before men who were married and had children.
McGowan made children his personal mission in Iraq. Even though he was a medic in a scout group that saw action and atrocities almost every day, he found beauty and hope in the faces of the children.
Stephen said in a letter, "Don't send me anything for Christmas, just send me things that I can give to the children."
The easiest toys to carry on missions were Beanie Babies. Stephen started handing them out to Iraqi children.
First one to the right here.
And the story quickly spread of the Beanie Baby soldier.
I was inundated, just inundated with beanies.
The Beanie Baby soldier started getting letters from American school children, and he would send back this. A photo essay he put together to explain to children why our country is in Iraq. It is still played in classrooms. It still has a powerful impact.
This presentation that we just saw, there's no words for it. It's the human soul at its very core.
It just gives us hope that no matter what happens in this country, we have people like that willing to fight and die for us just to make sure that we can be safe, and it's really very touching.
Especially touching because it is a message from the grave. In March of 2005, Bobby McGowan broke down when she saw 2 officers making the long walk down the hall to her apartment in Newark, Delaware.
Just started saying, "No, no. Are you sure, Stephen McGowan? Stephen McGowan, are you sure?" And he was so young, this captain, and he said, "Yes, ma'am, we're sure."
26-year-old Stephen McGowan died when a roadside bomb detonated near his patrol in Ramadi. His body is buried at Arlington National Cemetery, but he left us all something. Hope in its most innocent form. You see, the Beanie Babies just keep coming in. The Delaware State Police and a charity named after a fallen trooper have picked up where Stephen left off.
To date, we've collected over 55,000. We box them up in hundreds, and at some occasions we've shipped over 50 boxes at a time.
Recently, members of the Delaware Air National Guard handed out thousands of the beanies during their tour in Iraq. Woody Gilger was there and remembers this little Iraqi girl who was scared of the soldiers until she saw the Beanie Baby.
That picture says 1,000 words. I mean, that's 90% of the time, that's the reaction we got from these kids. And it was a good, I'm doing the right thing type of feeling.
And imagine how that little girl feels now, or any Iraqi child who goes to bed maybe tonight with the comfort given them from the heart of Stephen McGowan.
It's going to be much harder to convince that child that Americans are devils when they have a little soft Beanie Baby and they remember that soldier kneeling down on one knee to give it to them.
And that is the gift that Stephen McGowan gave all of us, the gift of hope for the next generation. Again, there are many fallen heroes from our area. Everyone deserves to have their story told. Tonight we tell you just one, with the hope of telling them all. If you would like to donate a Beanie Baby to be given to a child in Iraq, just go to CBS3.com, and there we have a link to the Ron Williams Foundation, the charity that is picking up where Stephen McGowan left off. Also, you can watch the entire photo essay that the corporal put together in Iraq before he died. Well, we got a lot of people making New Year's plans and a lot of mummers worried about their outfits.
Right. Well, we have some hope for people making plans. Mummers probably not in that group.
They're going to have to cancel, you think, on Monday, it looks like?
I think it looks like it. It looks like it's going to be hard to keep the Mummers Parade, but for weekend plans, it's actually looking a little bit better. Right now, we're enjoying a pretty quiet evening, and right now, Poconos enjoyed a pretty good ski day. It was packed earlier this afternoon. They were able to make a lot of snow last night. We saw the big cats out combing the mountain, grooming the mountain for this coming weekend, and I bet they prefer dry weather over rainy weather, even though it's going to be warm just about everywhere. It's 41 in Philadelphia right now. It's 41 in Allentown as well, with 35 degrees in the Poconos, 36 in Millville, 45 in Trenton, and right now it's 40 degrees in Wilmington. We'll be dipping back down into the 30s tonight. We continue to track the big western storm slowly making its way our way, but right now it's bringing heavy snow to Denver and some rain to Texas. It's going to run into a few problems, though, and that's going to help impact our weekend forecast. One being, it's not going to be any snow with this one, is taking a northern track that's putting us on the warm side and being blocked by an area of high pressure. This is also slowing it down. So the timing of the rain is now being delayed. At least the onset of the rain is being delayed. And that's good news if you have plans Saturday into Sunday, and that does include the Eagles game. So timing it out, the rain holds off on Saturday. So a pretty good looking day actually on Saturday with temperatures above normal as well. Sunday, it looks like the Eagles game is going to be better shape. In fact, I don't think the rain may start until after the Eagles game is over with. So heading to the parties late on Sunday, that might be a different story. And then certainly coming back as rain is likely through the day on Monday. That does include the Mummers Parade. Does look like they'll have to push it till Saturday. And then by Tuesday, all of this it leaves the area and we're left with back to seasonal temperatures. Mostly cloudy, chilly tonight, 27 to 35 degrees. Winds will be out of the southwest at 3 to 8 miles per hour. For tomorrow, partly sunny skies. Temperatures continue.
Tonight, the first state's only dedicated newscast. The next mayor, your issues, your voice. Know why, WHYY. To become a member and support WHYY News and Public Affairs, 888-345-9499 or WHYY.org.
For tonight's Friday Forum, the president's plan to dramatically increase the U.S. presence in Iraq. What's at stake and what's the price? Reaction from U.S. Senator Tom Carper and an analyst, also a mother for whom the war brought grief. Plus, Rob Stewart with today's news. That is ahead on Delaware Tonight.
Live from the first state, this is WHYY Delaware Tonight with Nancy Karabjanian.
Good evening. State officials released new details tonight in the death of an inmate at the Delaware Correctional Center near Smyrna. Despite earlier indications from the Department of Correction, officials have now ruled out meningitis as the cause of death. WHYY's Dover Bureau Chief Patrick Mears joins us with the newest developments tonight. Patrick.
Rob, that's exactly right. The state medical examiners has confirmed that this is not a case of meningitis. 24-year-old Demetrius Caldwell died behind prison walls at the Smyrna prison Wednesday afternoon in the infirmary. He was behind bars for violating probation on a drug conviction. Prison medical officials had taken the precautionary steps of offering antibiotics to staffers and inmates who may have been exposed. The DOC's Health Services Director says a cause of death is still under investigation.
Always a possibility that persons can die without a known cause,
And we're as curious as you are, and we're working hard with the medical examiner's office to request them to give us the information as quickly as they can.
DOC officials say they don't believe there's any danger to inmates or prison employees. They say Caldwell had no known life-threatening illnesses. Of course, much has been made of health care in state prisons since several cases of alleged lax medical care came to light in 2005. Now, officials say there is no timetable for a cause of death to be released. But right now, again, Rob, they have confirmed that the death of this 24-year-old inmate was not caused by meningitis.
Okay, Patrick, thanks. Fire investigators arrest a Dover woman for allegedly trying to burn her boyfriend's house down while he was asleep inside. 40-year-old Dolores Reed was arrested this morning and charged with arson and reckless endangerment. Reed allegedly set fire to the home in Dover Air Park around midnight. Dolores Reed is behind bars tonight. Her boyfriend is in stable condition, recovering from severe burns. City officials in Dover determined the state's reverse 911 system is not good enough to notify residents of an emergency. This after it took 4 hours to inform 17,000 residents about a chemical leak last August. The leak happened at the Dow Reichel plant just north of Dover near Cheswold. It sent at least 10 people to the hospital.
Basically what we learned is that if you're talking about a large-scale number of people that need to be informed about something, it's not going to work by itself. It's something that you would use to supplement what we would all consider, I think, more traditional means of notifying people.
The mayor says the city should have notified media outlets of the leak sooner. In addition to the reverse 911 system, emergency personnel went door to door to inform residents of the pending danger. Wilmington police target city stores in an effort to crack down on counterfeit goods. Police searched 3 Market Street stores yesterday and say they found more than 1,000 counterfeit items inside the Crazy Discount, Discount Plus, and Shivam's Paradise. They seized items including clothes, shoes, CDs, and DVDs featuring a variety of logos from Nike and Adidas to Gucci and Louis Vuitton. Police arrested 2 store owners and have a warrant out tonight for the 3rd. A Newcastle motel will clean up its act after the state filed suit against its owners. The state attorney general's office announced today an agreement with the Hollywood Motel on Route 13. The state sued the establishment last month, saying it was a nuisance property frequented allegedly by prostitutes and littered with drugs. According to the state, the motel's owners will hire a security guard, install cameras, and make other improvements. The motel is the first case in the state's campaign to go after owners of nuisance properties. A major company announces another hit to the Newcastle County job market. Sears says it's closing its fashion distribution center near Newport. The closure will leave mostly hourly workers without jobs. Sears merged with Kmart in 2005 and says it's now attempting to streamline its operations. A Sears spokesperson says workers at the Newport site will be eligible to apply for new jobs at 4 Kmart distribution centers, but the closest one is in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. A popular cookie is cutting the fat and promises to taste just as good as the original. For the first time in 70 years, the Girl Scouts are changing the recipe. WHYY's Ashley Long reports.
Just as the Girl Scouts promised to help people at all times, now they might be helping people stick to the popular New Year's resolution to eat healthier.
All our cookies have 0 trans fat, and including we also have a sugar-free cookie this year.
While the cookies are not entirely fat-free, Vandenherk says the new versions are a better option.
We are promoting healthy lifestyle among girls, and how could we continue having a product that, as nutritionists will say, is not that healthy. I can't tell the difference between the 0 trans fat and the ones with trans fat. I think they're just as delicious.
We decided to take this popular cookie to the street and find out what consumers thought of the new, healthier version. So do you think they're as good as Mom's?
Yeah. It tastes the same. But they taste very chocolatey. Delicious, yeah. I would buy them.
And with last year's sales exceeding 380,000 boxes sold in Delaware, Vanderherk says she hopes healthier cookies equals bigger sales and smaller waistlines.
You can enjoy treats in moderation. Don't eat the whole box of cookies. You can buy enough and freeze them. They do last all year.
In Newark, Ashley Long, WHYY News.
And the Girl Scouts begin the traditional door-to-door sales of the cookies this weekend. Coming up on Delaware Tonight, some musicians return to Delaware, and they return to their home stage for the weekend. How you can take part and why this is a special event for these musicians. Coming up, stay with us.
If you missed Delaware Tonight live, there are two ways to see what you missed. Online at whyy.org/Delaware Tonight, or on demand from Comcast Digital Cable. A week's worth of first state news at your command. WHYY Delaware Tonight.
The question is whether our new strategy will bring us closer to success. I believe that it will.
That was President Bush to the nation Wednesday night as he commits more manpower to the Iraq War. More manpower means 20,000 Americans, the majority of whom will be sent in and around Baghdad, the scene of some of the bloodiest battles to date in Iraq. A message to two audiences tonight as delivered by the president, members of Congress, and to the American people. First, let's hear a reaction from Delawareans.
I don't think it's nice, good to send all those troops over there because they dying left and right. You know, I've been there, done that. I was stationed at Fort Bragg at 82nd Airborne, but I don't think it's right to send those guys over there.
That's what he want to do to protect us, so we got to go what he's saying.
He's sending 21,000 more targets over there. The insurgency that he's fighting, it's not like a standing army. World War II, Korea, where you know who the enemy is.
A whole nation that hate Americans, they teach their kids that hate Americans from the time they're smaller. What do they think they're going to be once they grow up? So he's fighting a senseless war.
And now the reaction from Congress. U.S. Senator Tom Carper joins us tonight. Welcome again to Delaware Tonight.
Thank you, Nancy.
What was your reaction to the president Wednesday night?
Well, the president said he hopes that we're right. We all hope that he's right, because if he's not, there's a lot at stake here. Human lives are at stake, ours and theirs, and a lot of money is at stake as well. I think the central question is this: how best can we motivate the Iraqis to figure out a way to share power amongst themselves, to share the oil wealth amongst themselves, and convince them to stop killing one another? The president seems to believe that we can do that by putting more troops in the country, in Baghdad and in Anbar province, and to do that for much of this year. His own military leaders, certainly the ones that I met with a year ago and those that I've talked to since, don't think that's the answer. Some very smart people worked as part of the Iraq study group over the last several months, led by Jim Baker, former Secretary of State, Republican, and by Lee Hamilton, Democrat, and both very well respected. 10 excellent people on the commission came up with a roadmap. I think it's unfortunate the president didn't follow that. But we need to, I think, what I heard when I was over there and what I've heard since, and what I've heard in listening, frankly, to the Iraqi people and their leaders, we need to say very clearly, we're not there forever. You have to make these tough decisions, because if you don't, we're leaving. And that's maybe the most compelling way to present that message, is to actually say it that way, and then to follow through to the extent that they don't.
It's almost unthinkable, though, about what the prospect would be if the president were wrong. That's 20,000 additional Americans in harm's way if he's wrong. If he's right, then there will be this lead toward democracy in that part of the world. But if he's wrong, it's quite a price for America to pay. Is America ready for that?
Well, I don't know that we're ready to lose any of these 3,000 people. I don't know that we're ready for a war that's lasted longer than World War II. When some of the things the president didn't mention that I think that he should have, one, there's other nations in the area over there, other Arab nations, they have a dog in this fight. It's not in their interest for Iraq to devolve into a civil war and a hotbed for terrorism. There wasn't much mention of that. He wants to put another $1 billion or so into reconstruction. We spent $34 billion in reconstruction. We frankly don't have much to show for it. And then we never heard much mentioned at all of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. One of the greatest reasons why we have terrorism around the world is because we've been unable, and the Israelis and Palestinians have been unable to come up with a two-state solution in their long-time enmity. That's a great source for terrorism in the Middle East, frankly, in that part of the world, and here.
What happens now with Congress? What will Congress do about this?
We're going to have a whole bunch of hearings. They started yesterday. House and the Senate, Armed Services Committee, Senator Biden's Foreign Relations Committee. The administration comes in, has the chance to say this is what we think is good about our plans. Others will come in and say this is what's not so good about the plans. We'll have the people who led the Iraqi study group, Jim Baker, I hope, and Lee Hamilton come in and critique the proposals. I hope someone like Colin Powell, who frankly thinks that the president is on the wrong track. I hope he'll come in and share his advice. We'll probably be voting by the end of this month on a resolution to say, Mr. President, we don't agree with the course that you've taken here. You want us to take here. I hope it'll be a bipartisan resolution, and the president will probably be free to go forward. There are benchmarks that he's set for the Iraqis, things that they need to do if we do infuse new troops in there, and it's critically important if they don't meet their obligations under what the president's proposed, that we be prepared to give them some tough medicine. There's got to be a tough love approach here.
Two things then. It was a message to Congress, a message to the American people. We heard a sample of Delawareans. We've just heard you. It does not sound like the president accomplished his goal Wednesday night.
Well, the president, as president, he's the commander-in-chief. He's in a position to push forward. He doesn't want to be the guy who lost Iraq. And he's determined, I think, to as critics say, push the can down the road and to get us far enough down here that he can walk away and leave this sort of in the hands of the next president. I hope that's not the case. I hope he's right. I hope that he's right. I fear that he's not.
Senator Carper, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Well, opposition heard clearly to the president's plan during Senate Foreign Relations Committee hearings, as the senator said, hearings that are chaired by Senator Joe Biden. Biden noted no mention of eventual troop withdrawal was mentioned in the president's plan.
Instead, we heard a plan to escalate the war, not only in Iraq, but possibly into Iran and Syria as well. I believe the president's strategy is not a solution.
Old Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice that he feels the president is making a tragic mistake. The ultimate sacrifice of war, the life of a young soldier. That hit home for our next guest, Bobby McGowan. Her son, Stephen, was killed by a roadside bomb in 2005. Stephen McGowan was committed to the American mission in Iraq. He took special interest in the future of the country and of Iraqi children, bringing them soccer balls, beanie babies, and hope. Bobby McGowan joins us with her reaction tonight. Welcome to Delaware Tonight. We've spoken with you before on tape, but it's our privilege to have you here with us live this evening. It's been a long road since 2005. Is your family's sentiment about the war the same, that you feel that there is a mission to be accomplished?
Well, I know for my family and for my daughter and myself, we've always separated politics from what Stephen was as a soldier. Stephen was raised with duty on our country. He went out and lived those words. And when he was in Iraq, as you just said, he really cared about those children and the future. And he said to me at one time before the voting, he said, Mom, it's like giving a book to a blind man, trying to explain democracy as something they just don't understand. And his fellow soldier said to me, we're their last hope, and we see it in their eyes. So I know that these young men and women, they don't ask for the missions, but they do every mission with a strong sense of duty and honor. And I know that people feel that if we change anything, we're saying that somehow they died useless deaths. I don't believe that. Stephen believed good men had to challenge evil in the world. He was a very good man, and he did the best with his life that he could. And I'm very proud of that.
What would it say to the nation and to other mothers like you and mothers who are praying for the safety of their sons and daughters who are in uniform if we were to have gone where things looked like it was going a few months ago and withdraw without making measurable progress?
I don't know how people are going to measure progress. You know, when you mention the beanie babies, I have often said that they will never be able to convince those children that we're devils. The next generation of Iraqi children, they've seen our American soldiers, these men and women who get down on their knees to give them a toy, when they're wounded, takes care of them. They've done things for them. So despite whatever someone else may use as a measure, I think there's already been a change in the world for the better.
The healing must be very difficult for you and your daughter with the war consistently in the news and with news this week of yet another Delaware life lost.
I was devastated to hear that. She was so beautiful and such a good person, and every story I hear, that's the type of young men and women who are being lost. And all I can say is those of us who are in this position, we try to be strong for each other, and we will be available to anyone who needs us if we can help. And the only way that we're going to heal, I think, for me, I try to get up every morning and say, Stephen, I'm going to try to make you proud of me today and do my duty like you did yours and let his light shine in this world. So that's the best that we can do.
Well, I know that you're proud of him, and in the few moments that we just had here, you accomplished that today.
Oh, thank you.
You made him proud. Thank you so much.
Thank
Bobby
you.
McGowan joining us tonight. Well, the most recent loss of a Delaware life came just this week. As we said, 23-year-old senior airman Elizabeth Lonke of Newcastle, a Padua Academy graduate, was killed Sunday as she was about to disarm a car bomb. Elizabeth Lonke was due home from Iraq in just 2 weeks. Tonight, family and friends of the first Delaware woman killed in uniform in Iraq are gathering at St. Peter's Church in Newcastle. She will be buried tomorrow morning. Services will be at the church at 10 o'clock. Her family's grief coming at a time when the president announced his plan for Iraq prompted this reaction from Elizabeth's grandmother.
He's going to send as many new troops as he wants over there. I want him to send one of his beautiful daughters.
Again, that was Elizabeth Lonke's grandmother. The senior airman was killed Sunday. She will be buried tomorrow. Well, we are now joined by University of Delaware political science professor Mark Miller, who will shed some additional light for us on what has transpired this week. The president is saying, have patience. The violence will continue, but more forces. That would be the answer. What was your first thought?
Harold Dow, CBS News, Cape Coast, Ghana.
Next, as we continue on this Memorial Day, the search for a vanishing breed of hero, the World War II veteran.
It's simple, really. Give kids what they need to succeed, and eventually, they will. That's the idea behind the National Math and Science Initiative, a new program ExxonMobil helped create dedicated to producing 10,000 new math and science teachers. Because if we help kids today, there's no telling how far they'll go tomorrow. ExxonMobil.
I had a lady and her daughter come in, kind of panicked. She was from out of town visiting her grandchildren. She left her blood pressure medication at home. I said, don't worry. We're going to take care of you. Just have a seat. So we called her pharmacy back home to transfer her prescriptions for her. And then we also called her insurance company to make sure that she wouldn't have to pay any extra, and it made us feel good to see her leave the pharmacy and to know that she could enjoy her daughter and her grandchildren. My name is Melvin Smith, and I'm a CVS pharmacist.
All day long, I'm on the go. I'm a chef, a computer technician, a chauffeur. But one thing that's always true, I feel best when I'm eating right and managing my weight. That's why I love Fiber Choice Weight Management Chewable Tablets. It has 4 times more fiber per tablet than a fiber capsule, which helps me get the 25 to 30 grams recommended every day and helps curb cravings and promotes weight control.
Fiber Choice, original and weight management formula, available in the fiber section.
There might be more lead in your water than you think. Pure water filters are certified to remove 98% of lead.
Fight crow's feet on your arms. Fight lash lines on your legs. New Olay Age Transform Body Cream Serum and Skin Tone Equalizer. 2 ways to fight the look of body aging with antioxidant power. New from Olay.
He volunteered. We were drafted. She enlisted. And off we went to Asia, to Europe.
The Gulf. To do our duty.
Serve our country. We were buddies. Shipmates. Best of friends.
I'll never forget his courage.
Her dedication. The way he made you laugh. And I'll remember him.
Remember her?
I'll remember them. Always.
Does blow drying your hair leave you ready to flip your lid? Now you can get picture-perfect hair in just minutes. I'm Alicia Lane. CBS 3 shows you how at 11.
Captain Jack Sparrow sure took in a lot of loot this weekend. Pirates of the Caribbean 3 broke the record for the Memorial Day weekend. And since last Thursday, it's taken in some $156 million. That's not too shabby, but it's got a long way to go to catch up with the all-time box office champs. Titanic has earned more than $1.8 billion. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King is number 2, and last year's Pirates, Dead Men's Chest, is 3rd. Meanwhile, one filmmaker does not expect to set any box office records. He just wants to make sure that Americans never forget the soldiers' stories from America's biggest war. As Wyatt Andrews tells us, it is a race against time to capture their stories.
Good morning. Larry Capetto.
Larry Capetto isn't just looking for a few good men.
I just want you to relax today.
He's looking for every World War II veteran he can find.
Were you in the Battle of the Bulge?
He is taping their recollections of war and weaving them into documentaries.
Never forget.
5 films so far, all of them on World War II.
We had a job to do and we were doing it. My God, we went out there and did it.
And in all of them, these voices, the voices of the vets themselves, tell the story.
Death was there on the beach. You could smell it.
There was only 3 of us left in the entire company of 250 men.
Many of the veterans are reliving a personal hell for the first time.
Everything was gone.
This veteran's twin brother died beside him.
I should have died with him. I wanted to die. I really did. Just my life had ruined. Half of me died when he died.
When people watch my films, I want them to feel like me on the other end of that camera, getting that personal side of war, you know, going down those rope ladders, landing on those beaches.
Capetto's search for these surviving veterans has been relentless. In 4 years, he's interviewed almost 400 combat veterans, assembling one of the largest oral histories ever recorded of Americans at war.
There were hundreds of thousands of bullets.
One of the most compelling of those stories came from D-Day veteran Lewis Johnson, a Navy vet who manned a machine gun as he landed on Omaha Beach.
It was the worst day of my life.
Johnson and Capetto are now a team, sharing these stories at schools. Capetto showing students the taped history, and Johnson being history.
What do you think you told them that they needed to know?
The carnage, the killing, the maiming, the blood. You don't get that in history books.
After 4 years in Iraq, America has lost 3,300 lives. But on D-Day, there were 3,000 killed within hours. For the students, the enormity of that sinks in.
It's like you relive the event with them. To know that so many men gave up their life just for us, they gave me a deeper appreciation.
Okay, Joe, right in the camera. Go ahead.
As he tapes these interviews, Capetto asks these veterans to salute, and they don't hesitate. He believes it's more than patriotism.
When I see those veterans salute, that's what I feel like. I feel like they're saying goodbye. They've done their service to our country.
On Memorial Day, we honor those who have died for America. But Capetto isn't waiting for death. Interview by interview,
The night before you went in on D-Day, where were you? And what...
He's honoring these veterans right now.
Do you consider yourself a hero?
No.
Wyatt Andrews, CBS News, Monroe, Louisiana.
And that's the CBS Evening News for tonight. I'm Russ Mitchell in New York. Katie's back tomorrow night, and I'll see you first thing tomorrow on The Early Show. Enjoy the rest of your holiday. Good night.
The CBS Evening News, sponsored by Cadillac.
My mother and I are really close. And a year and a half ago, she had a heart attack. Our local Jersey hospital reached a point where there was nothing more they could do for my mother, and so they sent us to Temple.
For people with serious heart problems, many doctors count on the Temple Heart Center.
My mom is my best friend, and the doctors at Temple let me keep her.
The Temple Heart Center, the most respected heart program in the Delaware Valley. Call 1-800-TEMPLE-MED.
This has been an amazing month, and it just keeps getting better. Thanks to all my new friends at Pontiac, we're collecting more cards for the troops than we ever could have on our own. And now they want to say thanks to you.
Now through May 31st, during the Memorial Day sales event, Pontiac owners get this sign and drive low mileage lease on a G6 sedan for around $199 a month. Tax, title, license, and dealer fees extra. Call for residency restrictions and details. Visit PontiacDealsOnline.com. Offer ends May 31st.
3,126. 3,127.
For every number, there is a face.
129.
A memory.
130.
A mother's tears.
We love him more than anything in this world.
It's such a long road ahead without him.
He was a really wonderful son.
So as you enjoy the promise that a new summer brings,
3,211.
take a moment to remember
212.
more than 3,000 smiles that now only exist in photographs.
284.
Take a moment to remember more than 3,000 laughs that exist only in the echoes of the mind.
3,306.
Take a moment to remember more than 3,000 American servicemen and women killed in Iraq.
America was born of war, and since its birth, men and women have been fighting and dying for the freedom that it represents. This battlefield at Valley Forge is our forever reminder that freedom comes at a heavy cost. The battlefield at Gettysburg, Pennsylvania is our forever reminder that for the idea of America to survive, all must share that freedom. The memorials to our world wars in Washington, D.C. remind us that America is willing to take on all threats to freedom, no matter where the battles must be fought. And even though there are wars we would rather forget, the Vietnam War Memorial reminds us that we must never forget those who died in service to country. And one day, a memorial will be designed and built in honor of the men and women who died in service to country in Iraq. On that memorial will be thousands of names. At least 80 will be from our area. In a moment, we're going to show the pictures of each and every one of them. But for now, we're going to tell the story behind one of the names. Take a moment to remember Corporal Stephen McGowan, the Beanie Baby soldier. There are people in this world who can find a ray of hope in our darkest hour of despair.
My name is Specialist Stephen McGowan.
Stephen McGowan joined the Army in the tsunami of emotion that flooded this country after 9/11.
He thought his country was in danger, and he wanted to do his part.
Stephen was barely out of basic training when war exploded in Iraq. Stephen stepped forward and said, "I'll go so that others wouldn't have to."
He called me, said, "Mom, it took me 3 days to make this phone call. I volunteered to go to Iraq." He said, "My roommate has a 3-year-old son, and I think I should go before men who are married and have children."
McGowan made children his personal mission in Iraq. Even though he was a medic in a scout group that saw action and atrocities almost every day, he found beauty and hope in the faces of the children.
He just said to me that one Christmas, "Don't send me anything. Just send me some things I can give to the children."
The easiest toys to carry on missions were Beanie Babies. Stephen started handing them out to Iraqi children.
First one to the right here.
And the story quickly spread of the Beanie Baby soldier.
Little did I know that I would be inundated with Beanie Babies.
The Beanie Baby soldier started getting letters and Beanie Babies from American school children, and he would send back this, a photo essay
he put together in the desert to explain to children why our country is in Iraq.
For me, the touching part was the shot of the soldier standing by himself and the line, "America will fight for you."
As a person who's also joining into the military, it helps remind me what I'm going over there to fight for. It's not politics, it's the people.
It is still played in classrooms. It still has a powerful impact.
This presentation that we just saw, there's no words for it. It's the human soul at its very core.
It just gives us hope that no matter what happens in this country, we have people like that willing to fight and die for us just to make sure that we can be safe, and it's really very touching.
Especially touching because it is a message from the grave. In March of 2005, Bobby McGowan broke down when she saw two officers making the long walk down the hall to her condo in Newark, Delaware.
I kept saying, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Steve McGowan, are you sure?" And they would say, "Yes, ma'am, we're sure." And I'd come back in the condo because it's such a long hallway. And I'd look out again, hoping they weren't there. But they were. And I said, "I'm so sorry you have been given this duty to come and tell a mother her child is gone."
It happened in Ramadi. A powerful improvised bomb was timed to go off as the scout patrol drove by. The blast killed 26-year-old Stephen McGowan and 25-year-old Wade Tisdale of California. Stephen's best friend, Jason Hagan, survived. He's now home in Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I dream about it. I dream about everything that's gone on in Ramadi. We were headed down a route that I had made the comment to my driver just 20 seconds, 10 seconds before the explosion happened. I said, "Man, I wish we weren't down here." You know, because it's on a dirt road. Dirt roads are, they can bury these IEDs in the middle of the road. And when an explosion happens underneath these armored Humvees, good luck. There's not much left.
Jason was in the first Humvee leading the patrol. Stephen and Wade were in the fourth Humvee.
When I heard the boom, I turn and look and I see a huge black cloud. This thing was 60 feet in the air, and I could see the hood of the Humvee about 50 feet in the air in front of the cloud.
The Humvee was blown apart. Stephen's body was thrown into a deep roadside pool filled with oil and sewage. Without saying a word, Jason and another soldier knew what they had to do.
And we both looked at each other. It's like, we're not leaving any of them behind. We're not leaving any of them behind. We're not leaving any of them behind.
What they did is just remarkable. And a mother could never express the gratitude I have for them, that they did that to retrieve all of Stephen. Which even that's hard to say. But Jason was determined that all of Stephen would come home.
Jason was there at Stephen's funeral in Delaware and has been there for Stephen's mother ever since.
No, I wouldn't have made it without Jason.
After all, he was bound by a battlefield promise to his brother in arms.
One day we kind of looked at each other when things were getting tough and said, hey, if one of us doesn't make it out of here, let's make sure our moms are still being loved.
I talked with Jason. He's still taking care of me, keeping his promise.
Stephen McGowan is buried at Arlington National Cemetery, but the story doesn't end here. You see, he left us all something. Hope in its most innocent form. The Beanie Babies just keep coming in. The Delaware State Police and a charity named after a fallen trooper have picked up where Stephen left off.
The very first wave that came in, it was amazing. I think we had set a goal of like maybe 4,000 or 5,000. We thought that if we hit that, that would be wonderful, you know, and now here we are 2 years later and we're hitting 60,000. So it definitely is pretty amazing.
Recently, members of the Delaware Air National Guard handed out thousands of the beanies during their tour in Iraq. Woody Gilger was there and remembers this little Iraqi girl who was scared of the soldiers until she saw the Beanie Baby.
That picture says 1,000 words. I mean, that's 90% of the time, that's the reaction we got from these kids. And it was a good, I'm doing the right thing type of feeling that we were getting.
And imagine how that little girl feels now, or any Iraqi child who goes to bed, maybe tonight, with the comfort given them from the heart of Stephen McGowan.
In that country, a lot of those children were told that Americans are devils. But when they see a soldier get down on one knee and hand a child a toy like a Beanie Baby, then that child will never be able to think of Americans as devils. And that's the future, that they have seen another part of America and another part of the American soldier.
If you can show them that America's not a bad place and we really do care about people, and this is kind of what freedom's about. You know, we can love on you. You know, if you can affect those hearts and minds, then Iraq will be okay, because they're going to grow up to be the leaders of that country.
And that is the gift that Stephen McGowan gave all of us, the gift of hope for the next generation.
America's #1 sports car just keeps getting better. Introducing the limited edition Ford Mustang with a 5-speed automatic, 17-inch wheels, fog lamps, a rear spoiler, leather interior, and a Shaker 500 stereo with MP3 jack. Hurry, they'll go fast, because only 300 are available. Lease the limited edition Ford Mustang today for $279 a month. Only at your Quality Plus Ford dealer.
Chapman Nissan's tent event is here. Yes, special Nissan savings now under the tent, plus only at Chapman, our comp check pricing policy, where we check the competition's price on every Nissan model every day and make it our job to beat that price every time. Plus our famous $300 less than the competition go. Come see the all-new design Nissan Altima, Versa, and Sentra, and the full-size Titan for under $20,000. From Pottstown to Jersey, from Trenton to Wilmington, Chapman at the Philly Auto Mall. Unless the Chapman name is on your car, you paid too much.
Add comfort and value to your home with a new sunroom from Patio Enclosures Incorporated. We specialize in sunroom additions with a 40-year reputation for quality. Experience Patio Enclosures' edge-to-edge advantage in a sunroom of floor-to-ceiling glass surrounding you with the outdoors while protecting you from the elements. Now, save 12% on any sunroom, solarium, or conservatory. Ask your design consultant for details.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you.
This summer, the American Road is calling. Get there at the Chevy Memorial Day sale. For 7 short days, get 0% financing plus $1,000 bonus cash on select 07s. Hurry, sale ends May 31st.
See for yourself. Shop and compare at ChevyShowcase.com.
How eating certain foods can help you quit smoking. CBS 3 at 11.
3,341. 3,342. 3,343.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now am
It's just very sad, very, very sad. Eileen was so proud of him.
Very proud, yes. He did things that I don't think I could personally do.
Anthony Dixon is our hero. We love him more than anything in this world.
I don't really think I understand all of it yet because he's supposed to be with me for the rest of my life. He's a very, very proud father.
There's Daddy. I love him still, and he's always going to be my husband. He's always going to be the girl's father, and no matter what, he's always going to have my heart.
I miss his face. He always smiled. He always had a smile on his face.
I think the smiles went out of her heart. That's it.
She was amazing. She inspired me to do things I never thought I could do.
I'm a good friend, a good brother, and a good son. And that's how I'm going to remember him, as a good person who was always there for everybody. He took care of other people and put his life before others.
It's a tremendous loss, but yet we're very proud of him and we miss him. We love him very much.
You looked into his eyes and you just saw joy.
A fun guy to be around, always upbeat, just a real good guy.
Just a great young man, and just the kid would light up a room when he came in. Just a really, really nice young man.
A sniper shot my son and inflicted the mortal wound.
Patrick, well, he was very well liked. He had a great personality. Everybody liked him. He was a comedian.
He was always funny. He always made everybody laugh. You know, when you was going through the hardest time, he always pick you up.
It's very sad. It's too bad that it had to end that way, but he was a brave young man.
He was very proud to be doing what he was doing, and his loss is going to be a very big void for us.
It's such a long road ahead without him, but it's sad and it's hard. It's really hard.
He was well liked and respected by everyone. He was always willing to do whatever was needed.
He was all about family and
He was special.
he was special that way, that's right.
He'd already made up his mind in high school. He wanted the military life. I remember asking you about that, the Marines, why the Marines, And they're the best, that's what I want to do.
Was blind
I just hope that everyone knows what he did was for us.
There's going to be a very big hole in this family for a very long time.
He was very loving. He was very passionate about his family, about everything he did.
He was a really wonderful son, and we were proud of him.
It's been hard, and I just feel for him now that they had to lose.
Asking all Pennsylvanians tonight before they go to bed to say a prayer for these men and their families.
Your world stops. That was like my worst fear, that he wouldn't come home. I think he's cheering us all on.
For months, I couldn't go out without at least somebody hugging me. People still know and care.
They're more interested in protecting the country, so they're willing to give their life for it.
Look at it as honor, not a tragedy. Dying for your country, dying for something that you believed in, that's honor. No, not everybody gets to die with honor.
When he left this last time and we all said goodbye, I think we all knew that it was the last time we were going to get to put our arms around him.
He was truly a patriot, and in my opinion, a hero.
$3,376, $3,377, $3,378, $3,379.
Ladies, imagine only having to blow out your hair once every 4 months. CBS 3 shows you a revolutionary technique to get picture-perfect hair. I'm Larry Menti. Also at 11, what doctors believe could be the most important discovery related to breast cancer in more than a decade.
Then the simple way to quit smoking, how eating certain foods can help you kick the habit. Plus, the bizarre and dangerous sporting challenge that's over 100 years old. I'm Alicia Lane, CBS 3 Eyewitness News at 11.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you.
This summer, the American Road is calling. Get there at the Chevy Memorial Day sale. For 7 short days, get 0% financing plus $1,000 bonus cash on select 07s. Hurry, sale ends May 31st.
See for yourself. Shop and compare at ChevyShowcase.com.
Get to the great tent event at Conacelli Nissan. Get to Conacelli Nissan and drive off in a new 2007 Nissan Altima 2.5S automatic. Only $89 a month. Stop by Conacelli Nissan, Ridge Pike, Conshohocken. A nice place to do business.
The new second story was expensive, but it was worth it. Congrats. I can fix that.
Life comes at you fast.
And Nationwide understands. If you've made home improvements big or small, you could be underinsured, just like over half of all homeowners. Think you're covered? We can help make sure. Just another way Nationwide is on your side.
Nationwide is on your side. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you.
This summer, the American road is calling. Get there at the Chevy Memorial Day sale. For 7 short days, get 0% financing plus $1,000 bonus cash on select 07s. Hurry, sale ends May 31st.
See for yourself. Shop and compare at ChevyShowcase.com.
Philly's most connected reporter.
Walt, you're the best in town. I knew immediately that you would have the skinny on this.
The Big Talker's Michael Smirkana says it best.
Of course, Walt Hunter's got all the reportage. I'm not surprised.
Walt Hunter, exclusively on CBS 3 Eyewitness News.
3,402. 3,403. 3,404.
Freedom is a light for which many men have died in darkness. That inscription overlooks this tomb of the unknown soldier from the Revolutionary War in Washington Square. It begs us to remember that men died just for the idea of America. This eternal flame begs us to remember that men and women have died since and will die in the future for America. We want to thank you for taking this moment to remember. We leave you now with images of men and women who died in service to country in Afghanistan. We also leave you with a simple wish that someday we can stop counting.
3,420. 3,421. 3,422.
It's hard, but it's part of life and reality, but he'll never be forgotten.
It's a lot of sacrifices that men and women put forth, and they believe in this country, deeply believe in this country.
Charles always had a dream, since he was a young boy, of serving in the military and serving his country. So he was fulfilling his dream.
3,425. 3,426. 3,427. 3,428. 3,429. 3,430. 3,000.
This has been an amazing month, and it just keeps getting better. Thanks to all my new friends at GMC, we're collecting more cards for the troops than we ever could have on our own. And now they want to say thanks to you.
Now through May 31st, during the GMC Memorial Day sales event, get 0% APR financing plus $1,500 bonus cash on every new Yukon. It's our way of saying thanks. Visit GMCDealsOnline.com by May 31st.
This has been an amazing month, and it just keeps getting better. Thanks to all my new friends at Buick, we're collecting more cards for the troops than we ever could have on our own. And now they want to say thanks to you.
Current Buick owners just sign and drive. Get a low-mileage lease on an 07 LaCrosse CX Special Edition for around $278 a month with zero due-it signing. Tax, title, license, dealer fees extra. Call for residency restrictions and details. Visit BuickDealsOnline.com by May 31st.
We are cardiologists and nurses, surgeons and researchers, all working relentlessly to advance heart care. We are the University of Pennsylvania Health System. We are medicine.
No matter where you buy your gas, it can be a painful experience or a delightfully rare occurrence. It's all in the choice of car you drive. Honda, the most fuel-efficient auto company in America. Lease a 2007 Honda Accord for $199 a month for well-qualified customers.
Get picture-perfect hair in just minutes. CBS 3 at 11.
Get ready to be an insider. Jerry Lewis.
I had a heart attack.
We have the comic legend talking about what he thought was his last day alive.
I was in the hospital 6 minutes later.
Were you afraid you weren't going to make it? You were going to die?
I was sure I wasn't going to make it.
Larry Hagman's liver transplant update to the Insider.
Did you ever think you were going to die?
Oh, it was that close, sure.
Plus, information about his South Fork family.
Old JR's got some big Dallas secrets for the Insider.
The lost Carol Burnett interviews.
My mother was nasty drunk.
The pain behind the laugh.
You lost everything.
Everything.
Barry Manilow, financially bankrupt and reliving his nightmare.
And the day he almost died.
I wound up on a gurney in the emergency room.
Then Tom Cruise at 21 and a fresh-faced Tom Hanks.
Well, so far so good. You never know about this business.
Before Oprah, there was Merv. Today, he opens his life, his party yacht. You're so naughty. And his talk show vault for the Insider.
There's one thing I've learned in all my years is sometimes you gotta say, what the heck?
Plus, Bob Newhart, his final conversation with Johnny Carson.
When was the last time you spoke to him?
The candid Insider interview, how the comic legend discovered his friend had died.
Of course, we all knew that John was sick.
And inside the day, he visited his co-star Marsha Wallace in a mental ward.
When did you realize something was wrong with Marsha?
They are your favorite stars of the 70s, like you've never seen them. Hi, everyone. I'm Lara Spencer, high atop our Times Square studio in New York City.
Hi, Lara. Hi, folks. I'm Pat O'Brien in Hollywood. Let's get right down to business. What really happened the day Jerry Lewis suffered a heart attack? Legendary comedian is finally ready to talk about it on camera. And our Victoria Racano scored that interview.
Were you afraid you weren't going to make it? You were going to die?
I was sure I wasn't going to make it.
Really?
Yeah.
Moment by terrifying moment, Jerry Lewis told me what really happened during a star-studded Friars Club luncheon last June. You thought you were dying.
Absolutely. I had a heart attack.
When did you realize you were having a heart attack?
I had a big meeting in New York Friday morning.
Right.
I did a picture shoot for over 400 photographers.
Right.
Before the Friars luncheon. And I'm going through all that stuff, and I don't remember what I'm telling you. I only know I did it.
Well, you had us all scared, though, at the Friars Club. I have to tell you. It was very frightening. It was very frightening for everyone.
I don't remember anything. I was told someone was drying my pictures. I was pouring sweat. But I'm glad I don't remember it. It's better that way. I get back on the plane to come to San Diego, and they had to make an emergency landing because I was almost gone. They got me off the plane, from what they tell me, and I was in the hospital 6 minutes later. And they told me, you're having a heart attack. When, now?
Lewis told me he feared he'd never see his loved ones again.
Primarily my daughter and my wife. That was flashing in my head that I'm not going to see them, and it traumatized me.
The 81-year-old icon underwent heart surgery. In 1982, he had a double bypass.
When you have open heart, you think you're immortal.
Right.